Welcome to NFL Live, and we're kicking off with breaking news. The Tush Push lives. At spring meetings today in Eagan, Minnesota, the final vote for the Packers' proposal was 22-10, falling 2 votes shy to change the rule and ban the Tush Push. Our Jeremy Fowler has been at spring meetings this week. Jeremy, back in your old Twin Cities stomping grounds, I see. How did this vote go down to keep the Tush Push alive today? Month-over-month support, but we fell short.
Yeah, Phil, the Eagles put off a bit of an upset here. I talked to team sources who said they did not know what to expect when they entered the meeting this morning. After owner Jeffrey Lurie and former All-Pro center Jason Kelce spoke, they still didn't know where they stood or whether the vote of the Packers' proposal to eliminate pushing and pulling of players was going to pass. And so they were only hopeful. But I was told that Lurie gave an impassioned speech to the group. He basically stressed that, hey, to be so proficient at a play, only for it to be banned by the league would be really unfortunate. He and Kelce both stressed that there is no injury risk with this play. There's no data that supports that. And so I talked to Steelers president Art Rooney. He thought that might have swayed a few teams that were on the fence. Kelce and Lurie delivering that speech as they did. It came through as a very close vote, 22-10. So almost proposed for the Packers to get through, but it didn't quite work. So the Tush Push lives. Needed
24 to pass, and it's worth noting, as dominant as Philly was on this play, they only ran 1 push sneak in the Super Bowl, a luxury when you start with 34-0 lead. Jeremy, thanks so much.
Thank you.
As for the Eagles' reaction, the Team X account put out this image with push on. They're lined up against the Packers here, who had the proposal on the table to ban the Tush Push. I'm sure that's a coincidence. Louis Riddick, Booger, McFarland, Dan Graziano, all joining me now. Boog, this has been the hot rule change topic this offseason. What's your reaction to the news that the Tush Push survives?
I'm extremely happy that it's still around. I was one of the ones that's been against it, guys. I think that if you look at the play, number one, everybody has the opportunity to do it in the National Football League. We've seen the Buffalo Bills try to do it, with some success with Josh Allen. But everyone could do this play if they want to. And I thought it would really be unfair to punish the Eagles because they had perfected this play based on their quarterback and his physical structure and how strong he is and based on how good their offensive line is. I get it. It's a quote-unquote dangerous play based on what may happen. But until I see some injury data of something that has happened, I'm going to be where I am now, which is in favor of the Tush Push moving on. Because essentially what this is a quarterback sneak. And there's no effort and there's no momentum whatsoever to ban the quarterback sneak. Now, I do think where there's a little bit of gray area is when it gets into pushing ball carriers when they're 10, 15 yards down the field. I think that's something that the referees have to control with how early they blow the whistle. But as far as the Tush Push itself and that specific play, I'm glad that it lives on. And if you don't like it, stop it. It's really simple.
Yeah, man. You know what, Boog? This, to me, never was about injury risk, right? I mean, come on. It's a quarterback sneak that they run on 4th and short, 4th and 1. I mean, what this was like a Hail Mary to go, hey, guys, we can't figure out how to slow this thing down. They have this ridiculous conversion rate on this. Can you help us out just by throwing it out? Can you just throw it out because we can't stop it? Now, as far as pushing and pulling guys down the field, I'm with you again. That should not be allowed. That just kind of like goes against, to me, football as I know it. You shouldn't be able to be pushing guys and pulling them across first down markers, line the gains, across the goal line, as they're 10, 15, 20 yards down the field. So I think here, for Philadelphia, hey, look, it's a huge win for them. Other teams need to look at exactly, what kind of countermeasures can they put into place in order to slow it down, which quite honestly, I don't really think you can. Their offensive line is just too good. Jalen Hurts is just too strong. And whether or not, unless you have about 3 or 4 Vita Veas from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you're cooked. You're cooked when they decide to do this. It's just over. It's a wrap.
The only way to stop it is to get 2 more votes than they had today. And don't rule out the possibility of this happening next year or in a future year, because the teams that want it out because they can't stop it have an ally in the NFL, which doesn't like the play because it's ugly and disgusting to watch, and its outcome is not in doubt. The NFL hates plays like that because you guys can talk about fairness and safety, and these are important things, but the NFL is also putting on a television show every week, and they want people to watch. So I think the fact that this play continues to be sort of odious in the eyes of some of the people that run the league mean that we may not have heard the last of this debate. Eagles win for now, but don't be surprised if we're back here talking about this next year.
I think Boog hit the nail on the head. You just need a QB who knows his way around the squat rack. Last season, it was the Eagles and the Bills who accounted for over half of the push sneaks in the NFL. Back here on NFL Live, Green Bay's proposal to ban the Tush Push failed to reach the necessary 24 votes needed. The owners backed the ban 22-10, so they're 2 votes short. Philly brought added muscle to save the shove. That's Jason Kelce. He flew in providing clarity in defense of the play. Didn't speak to the media today, but before he headed to Minnesota, Kelce said this on his New Heights podcast.
Some of the owners and coaches hinted that the reason I stopped playing was because of the Tush Push and that I got hurt on the Tush Push frequently. I'm just going to answer any questions people have about my partaking in this play. I'll tell you this right now. I'll come out of retirement today if you tell me all I got to do is run 80 Tush Pushes to play in the NFL. I'll do that gladly. It'll be the easiest job in the world, and it'll be like 80-some snaps.
So we patiently await word on if Jason Kelce is going to unretire. I don't know if Jeremy Fowler has anything else on that. Back with us from the spring meetings. Jeremy, it's a fun highlight to have Kelce at these spring meetings, but how impactful was he today?
Yeah. Phil, Kelce is definitely not unretiring, but he was a factor today. Talking to people around the building, they said that the meetings in here were tense, especially with owner Jeffrey Lurie and his impassioned speech. Well, Kelce came after him and brought a bit of levity to the situation. His discussion was football only. He broke down the tush push plays. He highlighted how it is not an injury risk at all from his vantage point. He said that Jalen Hurts is going to continue to get those first downs, whether he's pushed or not. The offensive line is just that good. So that was pretty refreshing for the owners to just hear the football standpoint. Steelers president Art Rooney told me that he thought that Kelce might have even swayed a few voters based on what he said today. And so overall, it was still a mild surprise that the Packers' proposal did not go through, and that left Cowboys owner Jerry Jones trying to make sense of it all.
Any play that's out of the ordinary gets some extra scrutiny just because of the competition in there. And so all of that, I think, is now that's the fun part of having these meetings. And here we are, the world champion is the main focus of the Tush Push. And here we are debating it and having to decide, well, am I really against the Tush Push or just don't want Philadelphia to have an edge? And I sit there and fight that too, and smile when they're making a presentation.
Which one is it for you?
I don't know. I flip-flop.
Phil, another big topic today was playoff reseeding. A Detroit Lions source told me that the Lions shelved their proposal because they knew it had no legs. They knew it wouldn't get voted upon, but they did spark some conversation for the future. The league does have an appetite for reseeding eventually, especially in light of an eventual 18-game season.
Yeah, the league's been nimble in the past. I mean, Jeremy, in 2005, when the NFL first banned the pushing and pulling of ball carriers, they cited enforcement and lack of a competitive advantage. Safety wasn't in the conversation. Jeremy Fowler from Minnesota, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, the best case, really, that's it for the Tush Push to ban it. It's been a pain in the backside for most of the league. Over the last 3 seasons, the Eagles ran a push sneak 108 times, converting a first down or touchdown on 92 of those, better than 85%. That number nearly doubles the next closest team, the Bills. Touchdowns accounted for 27 of those Philly successes. The rest of the league, Buffalo had 11. Everybody else combined had 14. So, Lewis, we know now, this play isn't going anywhere. So is there a way for teams to defend it?
No, not really. Not really. And like I said, unless you have guys who are just so unique in terms of their ability to play with leverage and have explosive contact strength. Like I said before when I was joking about the fact that unless you have 3 Vita Veas, the fantastic defensive tackle from the Tampa Bay Bucks, that you can put one head up on the center and put 2, in one techniques, like inside shades of the guard, there's nothing you're going to be able to do because Philadelphia's offensive line is just so good and so powerful in their lower half And Jalen Hurts is a 500, 600-pound squatter. I mean, and then you got Saquon Barkley behind him, and tight ends behind him. There's just nothing you can really do about it unless you have the manpower up front to slow it down. You're at their mercy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Lewis that you're at their mercy because usually they're running it on 3rd and 1 or less or 4th and 1 or less. And we're talking about 3 feet. Like, we're not talking about 2 or 3 yards. We're talking about 3 feet, essentially, less than 3 feet. So it is really, really tough to stop anybody. And I would almost bet this, guys. Even if they didn't push Jalen Hurts and they just ran a regular quarterback sneak, I think their successful percentage of getting that would still be just as high, maybe even higher. And I think because the quarterback sneak is so tough to stop. And even with that being said, myself as a defensive tackle, I've heard other defensive tackles like Jared McCoy and Ndamukong Suh, we all say the same thing. The play still shouldn't be banned because there's something about it. At some point, it's going to get stopped. It may not be stopped every time, but it's going to be stopped at the right time. And I think at that point, we will all then say, oh, it's successful sometimes, but we can stop it at an opportune time for our defense. So even with all that being said, I'm still glad that they decided not to ban the tush push.
And this proposal didn't miss by much, failed by 2 votes. The owners did back at 22-10, which coincidentally, the same exact score by which the Eagles beat the Packers, source of the proposal, 22-10.